I'd like to invite Jomana Siddiqui up from ModernEID at this point.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Thank you, the AMCC, for the opportunity to be here and to the panel. I'm Jomana Siddiqui, and I want to introduce you to ModernEID. So we're an online retailer for products celebrating the Muslim holidays, and our company is motivated by the desire to have tasteful goods available mainstream. So we seek to guide future Muslim generations to create new Eid traditions while maintaining our core values of greener practices, giving to charities, and making all of our goods in America. So a little about our background. ModernEID is a subsidiary of Pence's LLC, which is a graphic design and custom retail stationery studio. I'm the sole graphic designer with contract labor for production. So leveraging our history of designing Eid fare for Pence's clients, we had long recognized a void in the market for Eid decor and launched ModernEID.com just this last August 2011 at the start of Ramadan. So we have a range of products that can be categorized into home and party decor and gift giving, basically items that you would find down a party aisle of a major retailer. So currently our products are produced in short runs using local vendors, and all assembly and order fulfillment is done at our studio in Orange County, California. We started with short runs to not only analyze the demand, but to ensure a high quality control. The integrity of each individual piece is highly important. In fact, one blogger who recently reviewed our products said, quote, that our quality is all that and a bag of halal marshmallows, which is exactly what we were going for. So. Our offerings are currently available in 3 different design options, and we relied exclusively on email marketing and Facebook and Twitter to get the word out on our launch. And we've seen that our demographic is typically young American families, first or second generation Muslims, that are social media consumers. So we're also in the process of developing our search engine optimization in order to reach a wider base online. So ModernEID and the parent company Pence's are quite different from each other. Although Pence's is our history and it brings a design experience, ModernEID offers an off-the-shelf product in a market with very few competitors. But where the two are converging is in our ability to offer very innovative and exclusive designs. We have identified a few online competitors, although we do have products that are unseen anywhere else. So although we're new, the response we've received has been great. In 1 week from launching, we had over 100 Facebook fans. And during the month of Ramadan alone, we sold over 165 products. So based on this, and of course with increased marketing, we can project our sales to increase at least by 60% every year over the next 5 years. So our product stands out in the marketplace. Our design has a very clean and contemporary aesthetic. We recognize what's trending in design and integrate it into our line. For example, candy buffets, cupcakes, really hot right now. And since we're our own supplier, many items like the cupcake frostings pictured here are not seen anywhere else. And finally, our rule is to offer a product that differs from the typical Middle Eastern-centric fare, i.e., you're not going to see any camels and palm trees on our designs, and our tagline is nothing gilded or tacky, we promise. So some immediate milestones that we want to hit is to have our line carried at retail locations and even cross over to a non-Muslim consumer. Our plans for expansion include offering our products in new designs and adding new items such as wrapping paper and custom printed invitations soon. And also creating like DIY segments where we show our customers how they can use our products. So based on the trends that we've seen in just these past 2 Eids, we expect that most of our sales will be done in the month leading up to Eid. Actually, a lot of sales done in the week leading up to Eid. And we're also confident that expanding, we're going to hit our sales projections, inshallah. So, of course, we've encountered some challenges, and we foresee how are we going to increase business during the off-season. Identifying buying trends for a holiday market, Eid's usually not included in those. How can we get attention from retailers, and will social stigmas with Islam get in our way of doing this? And finally, what are some effective marketing techniques for this product, and how can we increase our brand recognition? Thank you. Happy Eid to everybody.
Thank you, Jomana. Tariq, if you can have clarifying questions for 2 minutes. Okay. Then I got to set the timer. Okay, sorry. First of all, I love the product line and everything that you're doing. I mean, we often look for things like this in our home, and it's sort of a perfect melding of a broader culture. I like what you said about It's not necessarily Middle East centric. Not that you couldn't offer those things also, but I think there's a burgeoning young community of Muslims who are looking for alternatives, and you really provide that. You mentioned in your presentation that it's not, you want to make your products more going to, that Eid is the mainstream holiday. What do you mean by that?
I mean, right now, your average person maybe walks in, if they were to walk in a store and see an Eid card or a display, they might not know what that is if they were not Muslim. So I think if it had a presence, if you saw it, just like when I walk in, I know what Hanukkah is, I know what Christmas is, I know what Kwanzaa is. If it was there, it would become more mainstream and it wouldn't seem so foreign.
Why wouldn't you do other holidays, Jewish holidays, Christian holidays, Hindu holidays? Why are you restricting yourself only to Muslim holidays?
Because when it's time for me to give a gift, I cannot find Eid wrapping paper anywhere. I cannot find Eid products anywhere that fit my aesthetic. There are some things, but it just seems that they're targeting maybe people from the Middle East. So I just feel that there's a void. I feel there's nothing out there, and I want to. You
mentioned search engine optimization and your Facebook and Twitter strategy, but the traction, I mean, with 100 fans is a good start. What do you think you're missing?
I just think the marketing, getting the word out. You know, it just launched in August and relied a lot on word of mouth. And alhamdulillah, for Muslims, word of mouth travels fast. But I think we really need to start getting the word out so people know that there is something out there.
Now, I noticed that you have 5 different categories: banners, desserts, party buffets, greeting cards, gift bags. Is there any one or two that account for the majority, or like 80% of your sales?
Most of the items that we get a lot of are the decor, like the banners, things that you would use to decorate your home leading up to Eid.
Okay, thank you. Done.
So the sales projections, that's what, this year you're projecting, what, 325,000? What was the sales projection for this year?
39, I think.
No, we projected to increase, and we're just basing
in dollars. Sorry.
Like dollars.
Yeah.
What's the number you're thinking?
Well, we just launched earlier, and I think right now we've reached maybe $3,000 in sales between the 2 Eids. We launched at the beginning of Ramadan.
Okay, and who's the designer? Are you coming up?
I'm the sole graphic designer. I'm the head designer.
And then who's handling the sales and everything?
I have people who like contract laborers who have worked with us in the stationery aspect. So right now, still working and handling the sales, but I do a lot of it myself.
So you're doing it mostly what, at home with the printer and all that stuff, or?
No, actually, because I've been doing stationery for quite some time, I have people who have produced our stationery goods for us who are producing the same items for us. We have a studio in Fullerton in California.
Okay, and the demographic that's buying this, I know you touched on it a little bit, but in more of a detail, you're mostly getting the orders around Eid, right?
Yes.
And other than Eid, what are you seeing?
Well, I mean, like I said, I mean, we've been the past 3 months kind of surrounding the 2 Eids, and that is one of the challenges. Is how, you know, it's a seasonal item. There's 2 Eids a year, so right after Eid, it kind of goes to no activity, which is what we saw this past Eid. So I can foresee, you know, after this Eid, the same thing is going to happen. So that is one of the challenges of what can we do in the off time.
Well, the name is ModernEID. That may be something.
Exactly. I mean, and that, obviously it's seasonal, and that's the market that we're trying to go for. But you know, we want to increase.
Okay.
Okay, terrific. We'll open it up to the panel then for 4 minutes, and you're welcome to ask the panelists or any of them any questions.
Okay. Well, I mean, that was the bigger thing, and one of the things that I wanted to do is to have retailers carry our line. And for the most part, from what I've seen, and I have not seen Eid products carried in a store. You can find them online, but not in a store. So how can we kind of convince retailers that this is something that is needed, and they need to start appealing to this Muslim market?
Go for it. No, I had a question, but go ahead.
Okay. I mean, any retailer, and Adnan's probably the best at this, will tell you they want figures. Who's going to buy it? How much are you selling? And I mean, to put it as nicely as you can, you have a real uphill battle here. You know, so I wish my wife or some lady was here who can probably give a better insight, because they're probably the ones, the ladies are probably making more of the decision of purchasing this. I love the design, I love the concept, I know my wife does it, but at the same time, if I look around my family when I was looking at this to think about how many people would do it, I really can't find that many that would do it and everything. So I know Louis has a question.
Actually, this is follow up on Tarek's point a little bit. You mentioned that 80% of your revenues were coming from the decor that you put up around the house. Now, I know, for example, if my mom buys decor, whether it's for Thanksgiving or otherwise, she's going to put it away, and then she's going to reuse it next year. So you really, I think, first of all, you know, you give a great presentation, you have a good presence. You got to work a little bit on your long-term strategy, because I think if 80% of your revenues are coming from that and people are starting to reuse it, there's only so much market saturation out there for you to grow your business. And so the other kind of small point is, I think Tarek touched on it a little bit, is ModernEID might be a little bit limiting as far as growing a business.
Might be?
Yeah, it might be. Well, it is. So you definitely have to look at all holidays, and I think Adnan touched on that, and you have to, I think internationally as well. Because there's, you know, not just the Muslims that are here in America that can buy this product, but overseas you have a lot more. And I think that's something you need to look into tapping into.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd say, mashallah, you're still so new, and naming discovery is a wonderful thing in marketing, and you're still young enough and small enough, your business, that you could do a name change. I mean, ModernEID's a nice name, but you might want to just think about something more inclusive. I think that if you're just limiting it to Eid holidays, we're going to be a very tough battle with the retailers as well. And from what I understand, your sales per SKU, your average sales per product is about $5, $25, is that right?
On average, yeah.
And I just want to make sure I understood. Did you say your projections for 2010, was it 28,000 or 2,800? I didn't understand.
Oh,
dollars.
Well, I was showing here because we only had the 2 Eids. We launched right before the first Eid, that we were going to reach about $3,000 in sales just from the 2 Eids.
So from the retailer perspective, and then you mentioned that there were 37 products, I think, or 37 SKUs. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So I think what you need to do is really figure out where are the strongest selling items and get some traction in those. It's a bit more compelling. And then you can go to a retailer and you've got something to demonstrate there. And maybe that's by having a broader category, or not just doing it as a one shot in one season.
So real quick, because there's 30 seconds. One is a suggestion for you in terms of marketing. If you did like e-cards that were Eid related cards, like those animated cards and stuff that everyone could send virally around the internet, and you put your brand on the bottom of that, I think that's a really good way to get, you know, people post it to Facebook, everything else, a really good way to get awareness really quickly, because you can get millions of views on those pretty quickly. So I'd recommend that as a marketing channel. I'm going to take issue with these guys. I like the name ModernEID. I think it's good to start with a vertical. I think if you're trying to break into the Eid vertical, it's a very good name. And I think you can expand it into Modern Kwanzaa later, or whatever else you need to do. But I actually like the name because I think it gets along with that. I do think you have challenges. What I would say is, look, you need to stop thinking about, 60% growth, because 60% growth on $3,000 is meaningless. You need to think about, okay, how can I get to $10 million in 3-4 years, right? How can I get to $10 million? And what that'll do is it'll force you to think about your business differently. It'll force you to say, okay, wait, I'm thinking too small about this, or I'm not thinking about this the right way. And you have to really expand your mind and force yourself into that position where, you know, it's not going to matter unless it can really get, you know, big and meaningful.
Thank you. Thanks.
We'll just, thank you. We'll have clarifying for 1 minute each. Tarek? Yeah.
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay, so, you know, one thing is to be really nice, okay? And I want to be nice, but I want you to be practical, because, you know, you shouldn't just spin your wheels, okay? And I think as much as ModernEID, but what we were talking about in the ModernEID part is that's why people are only thinking of you at Eid. And the other thing is, I think that you are 10 years ahead of the Muslim Ummah. You know, meaning, I think as my daughters get older, I think they will get into this product. But right now, I think you may be a little ahead of the curve. And I would diversify. You know, think about other things. You're a great designer. You're very creative. I think I would put the energy into that creativity. You know, into the creativity and everything. And we saw that video from Peter Gould. You know, so there's a lot of opportunity for you to sell your talent and what you can put together, but doesn't necessarily mean you have to sell $5 items. And you know, $3,000 or $300,000 with the amount of labor and the amount of energy it's going to take, it's going to be tough. So rethink it a little bit, I think.
Thanks, Tarek. I will share my 1 minute. I did have a request that There's some talking in the audience, so if people could please take it outside if they're talking. Thank you. I also think, like I said, I think you have a very good product line. I think your challenge in growing this into the retailers is going to be difficult, and I think you need to start thinking about what is your social networking strategy, how are you getting to the Muslim consumers. If that's the market that you want to sell to, alhamdulillah, we're very lucky. We have an ummah that's very internet savvy and that's very connected, and you just need to figure out how to mine that, and it's not so hard to figure out. So I'd suggest you take some time, figure that out before the next Eid, not this one, of course, but the next one when you launch your product line, and then use that as kind of a showcase. If you can really demonstrate, you can draw customers into it, you can draw some great traction on it and develop a nice spike in sales. That's something the retailer would love to see, because then you're bringing a customer base into that store that they can't get. So that's how I'd kind of look at it. I'd also look at, in the theme of starting small, just look at 1 or 2 regions and look at focusing on those where you think there's a strong Muslim population and try to make it successful there. So thank you.
Thank you.